When it comes to Indian basketball, again, I'm not to boast, but I think I am the go-to guy. I got rid of the posters because there's so many men looking down at me while I sleep that I didn't like. I'm like, no, okay.
I mean, I don't care about Messi, Ronaldo. I mean, I'm a big David Beckham fan.
Nice.
You win the round and they play certain Bhojpuri songs. And I mean, it's another different world altogether.
Yeah. I even thought about it. It's not like I didn't. But, yeah, man. But CSGO for life, man.
Oh, a favorite NBA team?
Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
If there's one team, it's Chicago Bulls.
Please don't say this because of Jordan.
Exactly. The proper stats, analytics kind of guy. And then I'm sitting next to a guy and like, so you'll have to fill up this form. Should I fill up this form or what's the game, mate? I'm like, what? I think India can make it in the Olympics in 3x3 basketball.
Hi everyone, welcome to the MADtherapy Sessions podcast. In today's 10th episode, we have Richard Xalxo. Richard is a senior manager, technical operations and player personnel at 3BL, India's first and only 3x3 pro basketball league. So Richard, you have done sports management from Leeds. Can you tell me something more about it?
Yeah, so I think it was one of my best experiences and I think it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. To go and study abroad firstly, simply because of the culture.
Okay.
And just experience as a student abroad. In India, it's just that, you go, you study, slog your ass and then give an exam and pass. There you go, you study, but you live also a little bit, and studying is not like an exam, it's more like essay writing. So I think if you're good enough, then that'll come easier to you. But otherwise, me being a football fan, I thought going to UK was like the best place because they're very good at football, and so that's why I think it was one of the best experiences. I just feel like if you're a student that's planning to go and study abroad, I would suggest not going immediately after your graduation. It's better to go after you have some experience, because I went immediately after my graduation and it took me basically 6 months to understand what they were teaching.
Okay.
Right. Everything was a bouncer to me. Everything went over my head. But I'm sure if I was experienced, if I had work experience, I would have grasped what they taught me better.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. So, being a football fan, how did you transition to basketball? I mean, how did that happen?
Yeah. So I came back from the UK full with massive hopes, thinking I'd get a football job, work in IMG, work for the Indian team, work for Man United and all, but it's not. It's really tough. Another thing is football in India is growing at a very fast rate, so there's a lot of competition. Everyone wants a football job.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had a sales job, and at the same time, I was trying to get a sports-centric job. So I applied at every national federation: basketball, football, athletics, volleyball, you name it, right?
Yeah.
And then a year later, Basketball Federation of India contacted me a year later. And then I was like, hell yeah, I'll be like right in the thick of things. So yeah, I took that job. I took a huge pay cut, but I just want to get into sport.
So this was way back in 2014-15?
Yeah, 13, 14, yeah, I guess.
So 8 years in basketball.
Yeah. It's a niche. So when I got into basketball, I realized like there's actually nobody. Like everyone who's involved in basketball is usually at the grassroots low level, and looking at sports management graduates who are totally into getting into cricket or football, I took basketball as a niche sport, and I want to become an expert in Indian basketball.
Yeah.
So I would say my NBA knowledge sucks, but when it comes to Indian basketball, again, I'm not to boast, but I think I am the go-to guy. So thanks to that 8 years, after 8 years, I feel I'm happy at where I am.
Yeah, because I mean, anyone takes your name and it directly gets associated with basketball.
Yes.
So you have earned that.
Thank you. I mean, it's worth the effort, right? I spent 8 years grinding, slogging my ass, and then even though it's not where football or cricket or kabaddi or badminton is, I mean, I'm patient to enough to see it reach that level.
Yeah. You think it will, right?
Yeah, it will. It will take a while, but looking at where the NBA is, basketball is like the second largest or most followed sport in the world after football. I'm sure India will take it there.
So working with 3BL now.
Yeah.
And how How's it like?
So it's better. So BFI, even though it's semi-government, I would
Okay.
say it functions like a government organization. Right. 3BL is more private,
Yeah.
so better funding, easier to work with. Um, sorry about that.
It's associated with FIBA, right?
Yes, it's associated with FIBA. It's associated with the Basketball Federation of India as well.
Okay.
So we have all the approvals. So yes, we have our upcoming season on the 5th of March. 3BL season 3. So looking forward to that.
So, I mean, what changes have you witnessed in the basketball scene over this last, say, like a decade? Because you have been a part of it.
Yeah, so one major difference is with regards to the office. There's the biggest transition would be from paperwork to digital.
Okay.
That imagine we are so, even though we are in 2022, most of the statistics and analytics of basketball is still done on paper,
Okay.
which is really sad, right? So with 3BL and with the BFI sort of, we are seeing that change now to digital statistics. That's one important change. And another thing is I see is the Indian team is evolving, is getting better and better. Like the players are getting that education with regards to ball. They are looking at like the videos on YouTube and learning from there as well.
Yeah.
Plus, our coaches are kind of improving as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's
So
a decent
So
improvement.
there's overall improvement in every aspect of basketball in India.
Sort of.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what advice would you give someone who wants to make basketball as his or her career? Do you think it's a viable option now, considering you have been working closely with a lot of professionals?
Right. So I would like to tell parents, right, who have like young kids,
Yeah.
that if they want to play basketball, it's better to put them up at a very young age.
Okay.
And by young age, I mean like when they're 6, 7, 8 years old. Get them into sport that time. Don't wait for them to grow up and then get them into basketball. So to a parent, I would say like put them up early. And if they become good, then, and if they can afford it, send them abroad. Because if you rely on Indian coaches to take your child, to the next level, then that's not going to happen. Because
Okay.
India's in overall is not good at basketball.
The development part.
Yeah, I mean, see, if it's cricket, I understand. Like your child stays in India, learns cricket in India, and becomes like the next level player, next
Yeah.
superstar. Football also maybe, but at the end of the day, even footballers are going to UK or Europe or Africa to
Yeah.
pick up their skills. So
Some are even going to Canada and
yeah,
UAE.
yeah, UAE has a good scene now.
Yeah.
Like they have a couple of academies opened up there.
True. True.
So yeah, with basketball, you have to go abroad if you want to legitimately make it a career. Otherwise, you play basketball at lower levels in India and then you get a government job by winning, senior national medals. For people in tier 2, tier 3 cities, for them that's like that's it. That's like a dream come true.
Yeah.
Earning 20,000, 40,000 a month.
Yeah.
But for people like us, that's not. So if you're a city boy, or girl, go abroad and study.
So it's a viable option now. I mean,
No.
it comes with the caveat that you
Yeah,
tend
yeah.
to you need to send them to
Yeah.
abroad.
So we have a lot of young players who are now studying or playing college basketball in the US, thanks to the NBA Academy.
Yeah.
That's scouted some really good, really good talent. They're playing in some prep schools. They're playing in some NCAA D1 colleges. So there's good scope for India in the future, I would say.
Okay. So coming from a football background,
Yeah.
I see you supporting Manchester United.
Yeah.
I mean, when did you start supporting it? And I saw your picture with Luke Shaw and Phil Jones.
Yeah.
So can you share something about it?
So I started supporting Man United back in 2000 when David
2000?
2000.
David Beckham.
Yeah, David Beckham, Roy Keane,
Yeah.
Ryan Giggs. They were like Ryan Giggs was running down the wings. So I would like to give a big shout out to actually Star Sports.
Okay.
And the broadcast of Premier League back then was so good.
Yeah.
Like even though in the English Premier League was not a great league and the Spanish league was a good league, everyone just liked the Premier League for some reason.
Yeah.
Even though the standard of football was like whatever. But yeah, like, that's why I became a huge fan of Man United. Had posters like all over my bedroom, and you know what the weirdest part is? My bedroom is red in color right now, just for
Okay.
Man United, like all posters and all. I got rid of the posters because there's so many men looking down at me while I sleep. So I didn't like. I'm like, no, okay, this is it. I can't do this anymore. So got rid of it. But yeah, I still have the color, still have the logos. Yeah, I got Man United tattoo as well. So yeah. And talking about UAE, right?
Yeah.
So they had their winter training in UAE.
Okay.
And I happened to be there in the month
Okay.
of Jan. And one of my friends, who's also a United supporter, he did his research and found out that they are living at the Royal Mirage Hotel.
How do you find such guys? Yeah.
You just have to Google, you'll get it.
Okay.
No, because there's paparazzi, right? So they have all the information. So they put
Okay.
it up. So Royal Mirage Hotel, Dubai, full team is staying there. I'm like, yo, jate yaar, jate, let's go check it out and all. And but yeah, I think we were smart enough because we didn't wear any United jersey because we didn't want to. The hotel is very strict.
Yeah.
So we wore like proper form, nice clothes, went there, and the security knew why we were there, but they were just like, keeping an eye on us, and we were like, okay, let's get a drink, let's order something to eat, so that we spend money,
Yeah.
and the hotel knows that, okay, you spend money now, they'll not stop you from meeting the players.
Yeah.
So we were just taking a walk in the hotel, and we saw Scott McTominay, Luke Shaw, and Phil Jones.
Yeah.
They were playing pool, right? So at the bar. So we were like, "Chale, pool खेल रहे हैं, चल बैठते इधर बैठते and like let's have a drink." So yeah, we got our drinks and we were keeping an eye and we were just chilling, waiting. The security there, everyone's making eye contact, but acting like okay, no. Moment they got out and then my friend, man, he's like, hey Shaw. That guy is not even looking at us,
Yeah.
like, Luke. He's like okay,
Oh.
let's can we take a picture? He's like, yeah, come, let's take a picture. And then we took a picture and it was like, I was starstruck, man. I was just like struggling to take the selfie. I was like, good experience.
I think the second photo of yours is a little blurred, so that maybe is a shaking part.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
It was good experience. It was like one of the best things.
You should. I mean, have you got a chance to go to Old Trafford?
So before I was a student in the UK, I went with
of
my
course,
parents.
Leeds. From Leeds, did you go for a match?
Yeah, I went for like 4-5 matches.
Crazy.
Like Gary Neville testimonial, Paul Scholes testimonial. Beckham was there, man, and we got front row, and we were like, oh, Beckham. Like, it was
A big. I mean, I don't care about Messi, Ronaldo. I mean, I'm a big David Beckham fan.
man, he was like, he had a great game in that.
I still have a 2002 David Beckham CD in which he has all his Manchester United goals.
Oh,
I
nice.
still have that CD, and I'm like, I mean, I had a poster. So it's a very similar story. I started supporting them after treble because I was hardly 9 then.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you get attached, and I loved Beckham. And the 2001, he scored the free kick against Greece.
Oh, yeah.
I was
the
like,
World Cup
this
was nice.
guy. And then wherever he went, I supported him. Real Madrid, MLS.
So he's the guy, like, he.
I want to go to Miami just to play,
The Miami FC.
watch his team because he comes to the stands a lot.
Yeah.
He's a very, I mean,
So very involved. Like.
it's a new club, but hopefully. Crazy stories, man. I mean, you must be having a lot of stories, and you have seen a lot of good matches,
Yeah.
especially the testimonials where a lot of, legends do come in that match.
Yeah, it's actually an entire experience. So first you go there and there is this bar that's outside the stadium. I can't remember the name. It's so all the fans, they're at that bar, like drinking and just singing, all the chants. And it's just everyone builds that atmosphere up. Everyone's getting drunk and everyone's hype and just singing.
Yeah.
And then everyone leaves the bar together, singing,
Oh.
and then you enter the stadium. So the whole the Old Trafford lane that leads to the stadium is packed. Everyone's buzzing. Everyone's in the zone, and then you enter in, and then inside it's another brilliant atmosphere. You're just like starstruck, and the colors are so bright. The grass
Yeah.
is so green. I'm like, what is this? And yeah, it was a brilliant experience, man. Luckily, my roommate in the UK, he was also a United fan, and he would take all the effort
Thankfully.
to book it. Yeah, thankfully, he would take all the efforts to book the tickets, get it at a good deal. I was just like, bro, you just book the tickets. I'm coming with you. Man.
Yeah.
And we would do that. It's a great experience. Man.
Crazy. So you travel to Goa a lot. What's the connection? I mean,
Just love the place. It's so relaxed. You can just be yourself, not worry about anything. Sometimes work gets a little tiring. It gets a little hectic. So I just like to if I get an opportunity to de-stress, I would just go to Goa and relax. Love the beaches, just love the vibe there. I forget work when I go to Goa. So yeah.
So apart from work, what do you do? I mean, to relax and chill, like after work, how does Richard relax?
So I either watch something on Netflix, Prime, but otherwise I game.
Okay.
So die-hard Counter-Strike fan. Yeah, I weirdly that's the only game I play. Like, okay, I play Hitman and some random games on the side, but CS:GO is something I really put a lot of my time and mind into.
I mean, if you play CS:GO now, certain servers have some very funny guys, and they have this running Hindi commentary.
Yeah.
And sometimes you win the round, and they play certain Bhojpuri songs, and I mean, it's another different world altogether.
Yeah. So even I sort of have a clan. It's
Okay.
me and my school friends. We used to play CS a lot in like 9th and 10th, 11th, 12th, and
1.6.
1.6, yeah,
Yeah.
1.5. I played 1.5, 1.6. I
Okay.
played WCG as well
Okay.
in 2012.
Okay.
If we would have won that, we would have gone to Munich. We lost in the finals,
Shit.
right? And right now you have this team in which Aniket Pant is a player. He's Venom, right? Those guys
Dude,
used to
they're good at it, man.
those guys used to look up to us. Right now he's like the pro, and
Okay.
we are just like playing at our places just to.
I think you need to dust off that goalkeeper and come back in the game.
So you got to play like for 8 to 10 hours every day to reach that level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now I can only give like
can't,
couple of hours, so it's very difficult. I even thought about it. It's not like I didn't, but yeah, man. But CS:GO for life, man. Love that game.
We should play. We should totally
We
play.
should. It's so my ID is Rich Mouse on Steam. You can add me.
I'm gonna link that in the description below. So one is gaming.
Yeah.
What else do you do?
So I play football.
Okay.
I really get a kick out of it. I'm a different person on the football ground. Like maybe at work at home, I'm like
More
calm and
aggressive.
sort of- Sorry.
More aggressive on
Yeah,
the
on the
field.
football field, like I've realized like I'm a different person. So I like that. Like it makes me more competitive. So yeah, I like to play football quite a bit.
So I mean, you have been a football fan, and now you are into basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, does it clash? I mean, where does your heart says something, your mind? I mean, how does it go?
So one thing that I've really noticed is before I got into basketball, I would say my football-related IQ and my general knowledge was really good. Was like brilliant. But ever since I started working and got into basketball, I would say I've not followed football that much. For example, I would know everything about all the teams in the English Premier League. Now I would just only know about Man United.
And I was
like,
waiting
little
for
bit.
you to say that. I mean, when you said gaming, I was waiting for you to say FIFA.
Right. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan. I would play for like casually within friends, but I don't know. I just haven't like got into it.
You play
full on.
NBA?
Yeah, 2K. Yeah, but again, not like CS level. Like CS is something.
That's something which you can. I mean, if you put your hours into it, you can. I mean, because that's like mixing work with like pleasure, but then you can become a pro in 2K also.
Yeah,
Because I don't see many Indian players playing 2K
Right.
and streaming it or whatever.
So I'll tell you something. So the NBA India, right? So NBA has an office in India. So they want to penetrate the Indian market by getting everyone to play NBA 2K because they think by playing NBA 2K,
It helps, yeah.
it helps in
Know the players.
know the players, know the sport, know NBA, and increase their
So
fans.
they had one before.
What do you mean?
They had a tournament before, or they are planning to start one now.
2K? Are you talking 2K or
No,
NBA?
like NBA plans to start a 2K tournament anytime soon, or they had earlier tournaments.
So NBA 2K is officially on Loco. If you know what Loco is a streaming,
Yeah.
is an Indian streaming platform.
Yeah.
So NBA 2K is officially on Loco.
Okay.
So they have their streamers streaming their
Oh,
matches.
it's already there.
It's already there. So NBA
Okay.
2K India community is already there. It's kind
Okay.
of picking up,
Okay.
and I know NBA is trying to use that to increase followers, like
Yeah.
because they think people played FIFA and then became football fans,
Yeah.
so they want to like apply the similar logic.
So I go to my hometown, and there are certain friends of mine. They don't. I mean, the way I'll put it as they don't know they don't know the game.
Right.
They don't know football. But through FIFA, they know all the players. I mean, German players, they know how to spell the German players. They know the offside rule.
Yeah.
Just playing FIFA.
Right.
That's great. Like you said, something like that. So
Yeah.
I get it where NBA comes from.
Correct. Because I mean, it's the same, right? There are people who know to play football, and then there are other people who are really good at FIFA.
Yeah.
But the FIFA guys will talk a lot and trash talk a lot compared to these
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, there's that community as well.
Do you have a favorite NBA team?
Yeah, Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
If there's one team, it's Chicago Bulls.
Please don't say this because of Jordan.
Exactly. And more importantly, it is because of Space Jam.
Okay.
That really defined my childhood. I remember I forced my dad. I was in third standard, and I forced my dad. He took me to a theater in town. I don't remember which one, and we watched Space Jam, and I was just mind blasted.
Yeah.
By watching it. It really did.
Did you see
made
the
an
sequel
impact.
right now?
Yes, I did.
Was it that good? I didn't see it.
It's all right. I mean,
Okay.
it's a good attempt. I mean, I think LeBron is the right person to play that role.
For the current generation.
Yeah. But
So Chicago Bulls because of
Jordan. Michael Jordan, yeah. I think Lakers is a good team that way right now.
Yeah.
But if there's that one team I'll never leave is Chicago Bulls.
Speaking about Space Jam, you have a Space Invader tattoo which you just recently got.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind that?
Can you see it?
So that's the
So
That's
if
a-
you use an iPhone, right? So
Yeah.
there's that Space Invader emoji.
okay.
Yeah. So the outline is that,
Okay.
right? And
in the middle?
yeah, that's space. So this is Saturn.
Yeah, I see that.
That's Mars and that's Jupiter. So I'm not a Space Invader fan as such. I played it as a kid, but I'm more into 8-bit art. Right. So I like 8-bit. I like pixels, and so this is the start. And I plan on getting a sleeve done, and my right hand will be filled with 8-bit art. Mm-hmm. So probably get some Pac-Man and
That's what you're
Mario.
planning to.
Yeah. Just get a lot of pixels.
Like something like what David Beckham his entire arm is filled with tattoos.
Yeah.
And it's got like crazy ones right
Like
now.
those Victoria right in India.
It became a rage like
Yeah.
back then. Again coming back to basketball, how safe do you think the sport is? I mean, have you witnessed any dental injuries happening, like any tooth injuries, any fractures, or
So it's a highly physical sport.
okay?
Obviously, there's rugby and all the other sports, but if you compare it to football or cricket, I think basketball is
Because a lot of elbows, flying elbows,
a lot.
come
Like
your
in
way.
3x3 basketball, in 3x3, it is physical.
Okay.
Like because you need to give that street vibe, right?
Yeah.
Street ball vibe,
Yeah.
where it's physical and you can shoulder push people. In 5-on-5, obviously it's a little less, even though there is physicality.
Yeah.
But it's a little less because it's structured and there's a system. Where 3x3, it can get a little violent. But yeah, so like teeth getting damaged, I've seen a little less. But what I've seen more is lips
Laceration.
tearing apart.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like just because there's so much blood and and then there are players who don't have teeth, but then when it comes to a photo shoot, you'll see them fixing their teeth and then playing around with it, and but elbows are flying around.
Like blood on the face adds a little bit of, a flair in the sport.
Yeah. So that's what, right? So when I talk about lips tearing, that looks nasty because
Yeah.
then the blood is like entirely on
Your jersey gets
jersey
dirty.
and all. But when your teeth breaks, then the blood is on your face and all. So it still looks like you said.
Yeah.
It gives that edgy look.
Yeah.
Like battle scars. Chicks dig battle scars. Like that. So yeah, I get that.
Are you into sneakers? Because being a basketball fan, I'm
A little bit.
guessing.
Yeah. So I'm more into the Puma collection that's come out right now.
Okay.
So Air Jordans, like everyone's into it. Everyone's buying.
Yeah,
it.
it's big.
It's like every other person is posting about it. But yeah, I'm really liking what Puma have launched. Yeah, check it out.
Also, speaking about basketball, what do you think is India's chances of qualifying for the Olympics in the future?
Okay. So firstly, I feel that Olympics is alright. So now there are two formats in basketball. One is 5-on-5 and then one is 3x3, right?
Okay, there are two formats.
Two
Okay.
formats. 3x3, I would like to say, is like the 2020 of basketball, just to make it easier for the people to understand. Now that 3x3 basketball is an Olympic sport, it made its debut at the Tokyo Olympics.
3x3.
Yeah.
Okay.
3x3.
3x3.
3x3, baby. So yeah, 3x3 made its debut and it happened to be the most watched sport.
But even 5x5 or
5 on 5, you can say 5 on 5.
5 on
So
5.
5 on 5 bhi tha, 3x3 bhi tha.
Okay.
5 on 5 has always been there in the Olympics.
Okay.
3x3 made its debut in
But they
Tokyo.
had both formats.
Yeah, this time they had both formats.
Okay.
Right, which is why 3BL season was launched.
Okay.
So in 2017, they announced 3x3 will be in the 2020 Olympics, right? So now talking about the Indian team, right? The Indian team in 5 on 5 is way behind, right? To see the Indian team in the Olympics, I'm looking at like 30, 40 years.
That long.
That long for the Indian team.
But a lot of players are going abroad to get trained with a lot of good teams, right? So then, I mean,
Okay, so I have a question for you, right?
Okay.
When do you think will you see the Indian football team at an Olympics or at a World Cup?
I guess 2032 or something like that.
2032 is what we are in 22. You think in 10 years
10
we'll be
years.
at a World Cup? Football World Cup?
I don't think so.
So that's if you see, because football is doing way better in India,
Yeah.
right? So if you think it's going to take 10 to 15 years for the
That's for
Indian
football.
football team,
Okay.
basketball is way behind, right? But because of 3x3 basketball now in an Olympic sport, I think India can make it in the Olympics in 3x3 basketball.
And that in turn can help the 5 on 5?
That's
Oh, that's different.
that's different. So if you don't mind, I would like to educate people on how this works.
I want to know more about it.
Yeah. So when it comes to ranking, right, in your in your normal sport, if say the Indian team plays well in football or cricket,
Okay.
you win, and your ranking, you get ranking points, and your rank goes up.
Yeah.
right? In 3x3 basketball, it not majorly it doesn't depend on how the Indian team plays. It comes down to how many people are playing the sport in India. Right. So I'll tell you.
Understood.
Yeah. So when it comes to official 3x3 basketball, there's an online platform. Every player registers themselves on that. It's like a social media for 3x3 athletes. Now, if I'm hosting a 3x3 tournament in India, I have to set up teams from that platform. Like if the player is on that platform, only then they can play in my tournament, which is 3BL.
Yeah.
Right. So now, if 3BL is hosting multiple tournaments throughout the year, India's rank increases because India has hosting official legit 3x3 tournaments.
Okay.
So, which gives us the chance to play.
Okay.
And another way for India to play in the Olympics, by the way, is if India hosts the Olympics. That is the first way we can play in the Olympic.
Okay.
Otherwise, man, we're looking at years.
For that also we're looking at I think a good 10, 12 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's already out. 2000. I mean, the next 2-3 editions are already. The venues are already out. So
Paris and I think LA. So.
And I wanted to ask you what because you are into basketball. I mean, everyone associates basketball with cool sneakers,
Yeah.
tattoos, and good music.
Yeah.
So, what music do you listen to
Uh,
currently?
yeah. So I listen to hip hop, but not so much. But if I'm totally into drum and bass music,
Okay.
like strictly DNB, Gunfinger Fam. So
You
yeah,
used to
like
play in
tonight.
you used to play in college?
What me?
Yeah.
No, drum and bass is like.
No, I mean, were you into music in college?
Yeah. Just as a listener, yes,
Okay.
full blown. So yeah, I'm actually going for a drum and bass party tonight. Like car social. So yeah, man. So it's a good gig. But yeah, I'm totally so. That's why I go to Goa. I look out for drum and bass.
A lot of gigs. Yeah.
Yeah. Oxygen is my favorite Indian drum and bass artist. He's playing tonight. So yeah, man, really.
Something
like
to
it.
look forward for you.
Yeah, and also it's UK based. So when I was in the UK, I heard it for the first time, and I was like, okay, this is like a good scene, good music. So, yeah, man.
You also have your own podcast in 3BL, if I'm not wrong, right? So
Yeah.
how's that going? I mean,
So right now I'm really busy preparing for the next season, so I don't have time to do that. But otherwise, it's called 3BL Talks. It usually takes place every Wednesday at 9 p.m. And our guests are usually athletes, or I mean basketball players or anyone else that's involved in Indian basketball.
Okay.
I just think when it comes to Indian basketball, the fans don't know much about the players. At the same time, the players are very shy and they don't open up.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a perfect platform for these players to open up and let the fans know how they are as a person, get to know them better.
I think you guys should have a in-person podcast, because then
Exactly.
I mean, like you said, I mean, it breaks that that shyness, the
Right.
barrier between, because right now when you see someone on a Zoom call or a video call, I mean, it's great because of the pandemic, but now I think it's time for you guys to take it, because I mean, would be great to see those basketball players in person.
For sure, for sure. Again, the only drawback would be they are based like all over India, and the weirdest part is when they talk to me personally, right? They'll be like, hey bro, what's up, and how's it going, and all. And then when the camera comes, they're like, hi, yeah, I'm into gaming, and I'm like, what happened to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, no, I'm just like camera shy, and okay, okay. But you're right. When like this is way better than like a Zoom call or like an
You can relate
Insta
with
live.
them and break that thing between both of them.
Correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So, any podcast you personally listen to? Basketball, non-basketball.
Yeah. So with regards to basketball, there are two actually. There's one on 3x3 hosted by 3x3 The Voice.
Okay.
It's on Spotify.
Okay.
Check that out. It's really nice. Because the guy throws a lot of numbers when it comes to 3x3. So do check that out. And there's another one on ESPN on basketball hosted by Jalen Rose. I think you guys should listen to that. And apart from that, I listen to Drum and Bass Radio. That's a podcast on Spotify as well.
Which one?
Drum and Bass
Drum and bass.
Radio. It's just
Okay.
called that.
Okay, okay.
So all the latest tunes and is on that, and also they talk to DJs and get to know about life as a DJ and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, anyone who's watching this podcast and they want to know more about, basketball. I mean, they have no idea about basketball and its rules. So, can you suggest some media sites, websites, links, or any good platform where they can go and enlighten themselves more about basketball?
Okay. Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to Indian basketball, I'd like to give a big shout out to ekalavyas.com.
Eklavya.com.
Ekalavyas. So EKALAVYAS.
Okay.
Ekalavyas.com.
Okay.
That's like a one-stop shop for everything you need to know about Indian basketball. Like from what happened back in the day in the 1930s to date, there's everything on it. It's run by my friend Gopal. Gopal, he's a journalist.
Okay.
He focuses more on Indian basketball. Die-hard Indian basketball fan. So you'll know everything about Indian basketball on Ekalavyas. And with regards to basketball in general, obviously there's NBA.com. Then there is ESPN.com, where you get all the ESPN. I think is one of the best for to know about basketball. And then obviously there's YouTube. You check out a lot of videos. And if you want to learn the sport, you obviously look at some of the best players.
Yeah.
How they play. Obviously, when you're in India, your coach is going to just teach you fundamentals and leave it at that. But the next step for an up and coming basketball player would be to check out YouTube videos, see
Okay.
how Jordan, LeBron plays, learn, and pick up the sport. I think that would be
Any
the best.
any young guys who would want to join basketball?
Right.
So what would be the ideal place to for them to start? Like, I don't know. I mean, the NBA school is one, but anything else they would.
So firstly,
start with, yeah.
So firstly, I think every metro city has basketball-centric schools.
Okay.
Right. In Bombay, it would be Don Bosco, Matunga. They have a really good coach there. And then obviously, I mean, the rich international schools, they have really, really good basketball
There's
coaches.
YMCA also. I mean, every YMCA has. I mean,
Yeah,
but okay.
that's a good place to go play in the evenings.
Okay.
Right. The court is concrete. I mean, concrete was. Now you don't see that, right?
Yeah.
So again, you go to a good school in Bangalore, it would be Bishop Cottons and FAPS, and so in Delhi is brilliant that way. In Bombay, everyone's playing cricket, football. In Delhi, everyone's playing basketball. In Delhi, you'll see
There's a stark difference between them.
exactly, and then in Delhi, Punjab, you'll see like 9, 10 standard kids dunking. in Bombay, the 9% kids are like, short guys.
I saw your a video posted about a dunking competition.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the exact date, but I
Yeah.
was like, those guys can dunk,
Yeah. Uh, you know, so in the north, they're just like blessed, so they can do that. But if you want to take up basketball, check out, get into basketball specific schools. You can start off there, and if you think you are really good, and if your parents see that in you, then I would suggest you to go to America, go to Europe, and refine your skills. Join
Yeah, yeah.
academies. Yeah.
What's one thing you like about Indian basketball and one thing which you would want to change? I know there are many things, but there has to be one.
Yeah, I when it comes to changing something, I know that one. Like it's that I'll talk about that.
Okay.
But if there's one thing I like about Indian basketball, I would just say it's the athletes, it's the players.
Okay.
Just
That's good.
yeah, because they're so nice and they're so easy to deal with.
Yeah.
And I think that's my forte as a person. Since I work with them, I know how to handle them well. Um, you know, in the office you have bosses and all who make life a little tougher, and there are a lot of deadlines.
Yeah.
But once you go onto the court and deal with these guys, you forget everything, and it's fun to be with them. As a person dealing with a player, sometimes you need to be their father, their brother, their best friend,
Yeah.
and their manager.
Yeah.
So I enjoy doing that. So that's something I like about Indian basketball and sport in general. And if there's one thing I'd like to change about Indian basketball, I think this is going to be a little controversial, but I'll say it. It's the people that's running the sport. I think once they change and once there are people who have vision come into place, then Indian basketball will be where it deserves to be.
The replacement people who will replace them should come up or should, like I say, step up.
They need to have power, and then when it comes to the association, there are like elections.
Yeah.
You wait for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But yeah, so in the NBA example, right? If or football, say Ronaldo doesn't play well, right? We are all saying Ronaldo sucks, man. This guy can't play. But in India, you can't do that if a player is playing shit,
Yeah.
because he doesn't have the same facilities as Ronaldo. Right?
Okay. Fair
So you
enough,
can't
yeah.
give the same. So in India, it all comes down to the person running the sport.
Yeah.
If he has a vision for Indian basketball to reach, then tab jaake wo ho jayega. Otherwise, we're going to be down there only.
But it's like a vicious cycle, like the athletes will want good facilities, and good facilities won't come until the leadership changes. Like
So
someone
that's
has to
alright.
take the wheel,
Right. So the cycle starts from the leadership.
Yeah.
Right, and then it comes back. So if only the main guy on top can give the infrastructure, bring foreign coaches,
Yeah.
and all that. Otherwise, for that guy, he's just up top chilling. India is playing these tournaments. Chal theek hai,
Yeah.
jaane de types.
Barabar.
That's what I feel should change.
Also, your sports management background. How was that program? Because I wanted to know more about that. What you learned, was it helpful? Putting that into practice in India.
So weirdly, right? So as a student, I wasn't really great. I was like the most average student. But weirdly, what I studied in the UK is something I remember till date. Weirdly, I don't remember what I studied in school. I don't remember what I studied in like 11, 12. To jane hi de bhai. Like I don't even remember shit. But
Yeah.
in UK, what I studied weirdly, I remembered. Probably because I slogged my ass. I've never slogged my ass so much in my whole life. Like it was tough. Like I'm telling you, people who think they're going to do sport courses abroad, they think sports hai to easy rahega. It is not. It is not.
Lot of analytics.
Sorry. Oh my god, there's so much analytics.
Yeah, like number game.
Yeah, and I'm not a numbers person. Like my math sucks, and then there's a software you have to. Oh my god. So I'll tell you this, right? So for my thesis, I had to do a research study on fan engagement and fan experiences in a county cricket club.
Okay.
So I studied in Leeds Metropolitan University, and so they kind of own Headingley Cricket Stadium, and
Wow.
that's Yorkshire cricket team. So I went for one of the matches. Oh man, and you know what I had to do? So I had to prepare questionnaires. So that's around like 150 questionnaires, all printed out, and I had to go like in between the stadium to everyone distribute it.
Tell them to fill it
and
out.
Fill it up and all, man. And then there are these these mad cricket fans I've never seen in my whole life. Like like Indian fans are all like, "Hey," like Sachin. Man, they are not those guys. They are like, the proper stats, analytics kind of guy. And then I'm sitting next to a guy and like, so you'll have to fill up this form. Should I fill up this form or watch the game, mate? I'm like, can you just not watch the game for 5 minutes? Like, so yeah, collect all that and then, analyze the results. So it's tough, but
Well, it
yeah.
did help you in when you came back and started practicing here.
It did, because it tells you a lot on how to run a sports team operationally, right? Going back to what I said when it comes to leadership with a vision, your team does well, right? So in that vision, there are two things. One, the leadership hires a good coach who matches the vision of the leadership, right? And then you hire a good operations staff
Okay.
that can execute what the coach wants. If the coach says that मेरे को ये equipment चाहिए इसके लिए, I want you to search for these players so that the operations guys do. This is what I learned in the UK, like how to execute
Man
the vision.
management and
Exactly, man management, like looking at players while hiring staff for your back office, like all those kind of things. And when I was there, I was like, what is this, bro? I have to be HR also. What are you saying? And then now I'm like, okay, like, I have to hire, like, then marketing, and then, event management was one of the modules we had, and then accounting and all. I was like, account, man, I did last in 12th standard. Now I'm doing it now again. But yeah, so you learn like everything. Yeah. It's like basically doing an MBA, but only
what you
sports.
learned was in UK, so you could replicate whatever you learned back in India. I mean, or it's the same, one and the same, or it's completely different. Like
It's different because every organization you work for has its own ways, alright. But to my advantage, my boss at the Basketball Federation of India was an NRI guy, or is an NRI guy.
okay,
His name is Imamshu Dabir. He is someone I really look up to.
Yeah.
And he kind of mentored me.
made it easy for you.
Yeah, and again, like, this foreigners, their work is so good and they're very understanding, so it's easier for you to grow as a person under them. So, so that way, what I studied in the UK and working for this guy kind of, made it easier, I think. So yes, it does help.
And is it something which you would recommend a lot of people to do it abroad, sports management?
Hell yeah, man. Like,
Because you have sports management courses back in India also. So when you were deciding, you must have looked at those courses in India.
no, I did not.
Oh, you did not?
No,
Okay.
I'll again, to everyone out there, right? I know that it's expensive to study abroad. I get that completely. If you're finding it difficult to afford studying abroad, then do it in India, right? But always do sports management from a country that is good in sport. India is not.
That makes a lot of sense.
I know there are people that India hai and all that. Let's be real, India's not. India's only good in cricket, and like cricket is only played by like 12 countries. So there's no point in doing sports management in
A
India.
lot of sports, yeah.
Exactly, right. So go to UK, go to Canada, go to America, go to Australia. These are those places.
So last question on that part.
Yeah.
Why UK? I mean, like you said, you may have had more options. Like, so why UK?
So I went UK purely for football.
Okay.
Purely for football. And the best part is, if you love football or if you love the sport, then when they teach you, they give you examples based on that sport. So say something you don't understand, then you give you an example, football related example, then I'm like
It makes it-
understanding.
yeah,
then you're easy to understand.
Yeah, it just clicks here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Similarly, if you're a basketball fan, you do sports management in North America, right? If you are a, say, example, a tennis fan or maybe a football fan, you could also do it in Australia. So
Yeah.
you choose countries accordingly to do these courses.
So coming to our last question, what's next for Richard in 2022? Because like I keep telling people, like COVID was a difficult time for all of us.
Yeah.
And especially for us athletes and people associated with sports. So now when everything is opening back, so what's next for you in this year?
So first of all, I'm waiting for 3BL season 3. That's again from the 5th to the 27th of March this year. Tune in. We'll be live on Sony Live and on Sony 6. We had a break for 2 years due to COVID, and man, I'm like, I can't wait to get back on the court and get the ball rolling. So yes, we're looking forward to this. And then after that also, there's few things lined up when it comes to Indian basketball. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I can't spill the beans, but yes, there are.
A lot of interesting things happen.
Yes, on the 5-on-5 level as well. So please check it out.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Richard, for taking our time for this
Thanks, man.
episode.
Yes.
really grateful to you, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon and catch you up with on the basketball field. So thank you, Richard. Thank you.
I should thank you. You gave me this platform and
No,
the
no,
opportunity to talk about stuff. Usually, I'm also the listener.
Yeah.
So when I'm
Because that's one thing which I like, because I saw, and because you are the one who's asking questions.
Right.
I was like, let's do an Uno reverse on you and ask you the questions. So
that's nice. Yeah, man.
thank
Thanks
you,
a
Richard.
lot, man.
Thank you for the podcast. Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you. Good.
Awesome, man. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
This is good.
Done. Thank you, Richard. And it was